which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things. The hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal, these words appear. Do you know what words appear?
Nevermore?
My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair.
This is how I have KMO check the mics. Anyways, welcome back to Out of My Head on YouTube, where today we're talking about Andrew Yang again, because KMO likes that. Today's topic was his immigration policy.
More specifically, securing the southern border.
Southern border, yes. And I will be playing devil's advocate because he is clearly not. So in the comments, instead of calling me a closed-minded stoner, please defend your candidate with some logical reasoning and tell me why I'm wrong. I'm open-minded. And remember, other people are going to be reading these comments, so you can still sway them too.
There is a stoner sitting at this desk, and it's not him.
I'm an alcoholic.
So Collin is prepared with 3 pieces of evidence.
3 notes.
Whereas I have a Yang t-shirt and the entirety of the internet right here. All right, well, let's start with words from the Andrew Yang website. Let's start with my phone turning on. There we go. Recognize my face. Thank you.
The first words on his southern border thing was, and I'm paraphrasing here, blah, 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 southern border needs to be secured for safety of Americans and immigrants, and Orange Man bad, wall bad.
Let's fill in the blah, blah, blah part.
Yes.
Border security along our southern border has many issues that need to be fixed to provide security for Americans and equity in our immigration system. You need to look no further than the stats on how many undocumented individuals are living in the U.S. or the amount of drugs that have been apprehended along the border, suggesting a much larger amount that's made it through. Many proposals would be expensive and ineffective, while also being ecologically disastrous. The issue has become politicized to the point where there doesn't seem to be any possible compromise, but our leaders are focusing on single solutions instead of the solutions proposed by groups across the political spectrum. When searching for solutions, we need to work with border security experts, immigration advocates, and the Mexican government to provide effective, secure, humane border security.
And I'm going to cut you there. There is more, but that's what you see when you first click on it. You have to scroll down to see more. The opening spiel is actually the important part, because that's what most people are going to read before they click off the page. So that's where you make your argument. And the argument was southern border security, Orange Man bad.
I didn't hear any Orange Man bad in there.
I'll quote the part where many proposals would be expensive, ineffective, while also being ecologically disastrous, is him jabbing at the wall.
Okay, but that doesn't reference the president, and it's not an ad hominem. It's not a simplistic Orange Man bad.
It's not a simplistic Orange Man bad, but Yang isn't simplistic, is he?
No, he's not. Let me just say that the wall is a stupid idea, even though I am totally for securing the southern border. It's an ineffective use of resources. There are better, cheaper, more effective ways to secure that border.
I 100% agree with that statement. I'm sure there is. I haven't heard many. Let's go further down that page and we can see what Yang proposed.
All right. Have we hit any of your notes yet?
Yes. Jab at the wall / Orange Man bad.
Okay. So we're not going to do any special effects here, but this is where you could insert the NPC faces and us saying Orange Man bad in a sort of metallic monotone.
Orange Man bad.
Yes, exactly. Alrighty. Now the blue section. We need to enforce the border. Democrats, Republicans, and independents alike agree that this is a pressing need for the good of both citizens and those who wish to come here. Though there are new technologies that could help, the best approaches are to do what we are currently doing better and with more resources.
Yeah, more resources sounds good, but I don't think that's going to really fix the problem. Might help the problem. Not really a solution yet. More funds to it. It's a start.
Okay. Problems to be solved. Large numbers of people are entering the United States illegally, causing economic hardship in certain areas, while also preventing us from knowing exactly who is in our country. True. Illegal immigration is risky for those who are engaging in it, and are at the mercy of so-called coyotes.
Sounds like a them problem.
And it hurts those who are trying to immigrate legally. Cartels and individuals are trafficking drugs and humans into and out of the U.S. I don't think they're trafficking many drugs out of the U.S., but I get what he's saying. Our asylum system is flooded with cases, resulting in people being enticed to come to the U.S. and ask for asylum so they can stay here for years before their case comes up. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Ineffective solutions have become the only solutions that are being discussed with any level of specificity. What do you think?
Can you repeat that sentence?
Yes.
My eyes glazed over, my bad.
Ineffective solutions that don't work,
Yep.
have become the only solutions that are being discussed with any level of specificity.
There are some attempted solutions being discussed. Again, let's see what you propose.
So the guiding principles that he lists here in securing the southern border are humanity, security, and efficiency. The goals are: 1, safeguard Americans. Decrease the number of people entering this country illegally.
Good.
Protect victims of trafficking.
Absolutely.
Stop the flow of illegal drugs from Mexico into the U.S.
And I don't really care, but sure.
I'm with you there. Prevent cartel violence from affecting America.
Always a good idea.
Provide a humane experience for those seeking asylum.
And that's where he loses me.
Yeah?
So
You don't want a humane experience.
I think as far as I'm not an expert on the experience asylum seekers go through. You show up at the border, you claim I need asylum. You get detained, held in a holding facility that is, as far as I'm aware, on par with U.S. prisons. You get food, a roof over your head. What are we fixing now?
We're going to provide a humane experience. Do you think that the experience that border crossers undergo now when they are detained is humane or inhumane?
I mean, they probably get guns pointed at them, but then they get to go live in a place where there's food and they don't freeze to death. That's pretty humane, especially if you're an actual asylum seeker.
Mm-hmm.
Again, no different than, as far as I know, the detainment facilities for them are the same as the detainment facilities for Americans who haven't even been proven guilty of breaking the law. You know, you get detained or arrested, you get held in a holding cell until your court date, unless you get bail, but that's without being proven guilty of anything. Am I wrong here?
Yeah, if you're arrested, you are held in jail until you are arraigned in court, unless, of course, you make bail.
And would you say the holding facilities we put asylum seekers in is on par with that?
The images that I've seen, I understand, are propagated.
The images I've seen looked pretty cushy.
See, the images I've seen looked pretty awful. People packed in shoulder to shoulder, all day, every day. Imagine the smell.
You know what? Smelling bad sucks, but not inhumane. I'm sure they probably get to shower at least once every few days.
Yeah.
I've also seen the kids that are separated from their parents eating pizza and playing ball. Which the kids absolutely should be treated absolutely beautifully. They're children, they're not at fault. But yeah, if your claim for asylum is legit, you're going to be happy that you're not being killed by whatever cartel you're fleeing from. I mean, sure, it could be kosher, but it's not inhumane in my opinion.
Okay.
It's not pleasant, but it costs money, so.
So, if Andrew Yang says that we need to provide a humane experience for those who are detained, you say they're already getting a humane experience, so it's a non-issue for you. It's like you can check that one off your list already. Done.
The issue is then, what does he want to do to make it humane, and do I agree with it? You want to give them toothbrushes? Okay, cool. You think they need better beds? Okay, I can for that as well. I guess.
How about this? Increase funding to secure our landed ports of entry, where most drugs enter the United States.
For that.
Increase funding to our customs enforcement teams that are tasked with preventing human trafficking both into and out of the U.S.
For that.
Invest in technologies such as ground and aerial sensors and video towers to allow for efficient and effective means of monitoring stretches of the U.S.-Mexico border that are rarely crossed but still provide means of entering the U.S.
And that's where he loses me again, which brings up my next point.
Mm-hmm.
Ground/aerial sensors and video towers are effective at spotting people crossing the border, not stopping them.
Right, but if you see them coming, then you can direct Border Patrol agents to them.
Are there going to be Border Patrol agents within 2 miles of them where they can find them before they disappear into the woods?
Not within 2 miles. It would be completely impractical to station Border Patrol agents every 2 miles along that border.
Exactly. So 10 miles, 20 miles. At that point, you cross the border. Even if you're walking, you can disappear before they find you. So if I'm how?
If you're crossing the border and there's a drone that is following you and keeping you under video surveillance, how are you going to lose it?
It didn't say drone. It's like ground/aerial sensors. And
what do you think
video
an
towers.
aerial sensor is?
Stuff that senses in the air.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, is someone manning the drone at all times? And again, if you duck into some trees, you can lose a drone.
A lot of trees in that desert?
I don't know. I'm not a super. Anyway, yeah, I feel like a wall in those areas would be more effective.
I think that's
also at that point I can still very
easily
easily kill the child I'm trafficking.
What's
just
that?
to spite you.
You could.
Yeah. Can't do that if you have some armed guards at the wall with guns pointed at you to try and kill that child. I'll kill you first.
Okay, well, I would suggest
that's just that
doing
was,
some math, as
wasn't
Andrew Yang would say.
That wasn't a serious proposal there. That
Good.
was a joke. But yeah, spotting people crossing the border seems less effective than stopping them before they do. Especially because once they cross the border, they think they have all the rights of an American. We can argue the wording in the Constitution.
Let's proceed down the page, shall we?
Yes.
All right. Invest heavily in protecting and renewing the Rio Grande, which serves as a great natural boundary and is currently ecologically struggling.
I don't care about the Rio Grande, but
even as a barrier between the U.S. and Mexico.
I don't know what shape. I don't know enough about this to talk about it. I don't care about protecting it ecologically, but as a barrier, yeah. But don't they swim across it right now? We make it so they can't swim across it. That's why they're called.
Let's move on. Provide all resources necessary to allow our asylum court system to function properly, lowering the backlog of cases and thus removing one of the prime reasons we've seen caravans increasing in size and frequency.
Okay. So on the asylum-seekers thing, this is where I'm going to bring up my number given to me by PolitiFact that was denying a claim by Dave Crenshaw. So they're highly liberal and are for immigrants, in case you didn't know. They say 20 to 30% of asylum cases are approved annually, which means 70 to 80% are denied.
Right.
So they're not valid claims. They're just people trying to get into the country. And these caravans, most of them are, again, not. So this is why we need to fix this asylum. You show up at our border and just say, oh, I need asylum. Well, there's a few rules for asylum. A, you have to have a legit claim. We shouldn't just be taking anyone in who says, oh, I need help. And yeah, so Donald Trump's policy here that he just implemented within the past year, you have to ask for asylum in Mexico first.
So do you understand, pardon me, do you understand Yang's point that if you have a years-long backlog of cases, that provides an incentive for people to come because they know that they will be here in the country for years before their case ever comes up. So he's saying clear the backlog.
I think the better way to clear the backlog is to stop a bunch of people showing up. Have less people coming to our border for asylum would be just as effective, if not more effective. If
So
everyone from Honduras
if
everyone from Honduras and all those other Central American countries I don't know the name of have to stop in Mexico and ask first, because that's the way it's supposed to be. It's the first safe country you come across. Mexico's relatively safe, depending on what cog type you're from. I don't know much about it, but either that or we can do what my friend Alex proposes and send them right up to Canada. Keep on walking.
Yeah, so if somebody's doing something you don't like, there's a variety of approaches you can take. You can change the incentive so that whatever it was that makes this action you don't like attractive to them is no longer attractive, or you can try to intervene.
We definitely should make the court system faster. I'm
Okay.
sure. I just had to go on that rant about let's fix the main source of the backlog first, too. Or it doesn't have to be first, but as well. Instead of just saying, oh, we need to make everything faster. Let's fix the problem with a bunch of 70 to 80% false asylum claims.
We're near the bottom of the page. Alrighty. Work with the Mexican government on all of these initiatives, as well as anti-cartel initiatives, to ensure a positive relationship that allows both countries to serve the needs of their citizens. I have to say that's kind of vacuous.
That's just talking.
Yeah.
Which has been most
Blah,
of
blah,
his
blah.
points, has been blah, blah, blah.
You know,
The
I
only-
disagree, but I'm the one
Hold on.
wearing the Yang shirt, so go ahead.
The only point he made that sounded like a solution and not just, well, duh, in my opinion at least. Most of what he said is, oh, we should try and stop cartels. We should try to stop human trafficking. We should try to protect our border. The only claim he made is we need to use new technology, like drones, right? Which has been a Democrat talking point forever. So that's all I got was wah, 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 Democrat talking point, wah, wah, wah.
Ah, okay.
I'm not hearing any effective solutions in here at stopping people from flooding in the border.
I appreciate that sentiment, but then when you go back to saying we should build a wall,
I'm not saying the wall is the most effective solution, but it's
an
more effective
absurd
than
solution.
it's more effective than
not
nothing.
effective at all because it can't get built. I mean, the
It's
resources,
already being built.
An effective barrier that would stop people from crossing the border.
I understand a wall you can
You
have.
ever heard of a country called China?
It stopped the Mongolians, didn't it?
It did not.
I don't know.
Mongolia conquered China.
What's that one place in Texas? I think it was Texas. Somewhere along the border, they were like an extremely high crime rate city because they're right on the border and had a bunch of illegals crossing. Wall was built there. They're now like a relatively safe city. I don't remember the name of it. It was in the news months ago.
Next week.
A wall is more effective than nothing because a wall can at least stop people who can't climb the wall.
Or walk around it, or take the tunnel under it. I mean, there's already many tunnels under the U.S. border right now. They're discovered all the time. That's how a lot of drugs come in.
I mean, you also need to, border patrol, cave in those tunnels, all that good stuff. But a wall is more effective than, oh, our camera said someone crossed the border.
Here they are. Here's their GPS coordinates. This is the direction they were going.
It's gonna take us an hour to get to them.
Yep, and it's pretty trivial math to calculate the speed at which they're going, the direction they're moving in, where they will be in 1 hour.
Yeah, because they're definitely not gonna stop somewhere, duck into a house. If they're
How are
traveling
they
with their
gonna know?
coyotes, they don't have an underground railroad system to smuggle the children through.
I think when you imagine a drone, you imagine the drone that Alex here at the station has. It's this thing that doesn't fly very high, it makes a lot of noise, you know where it is. That's not the kind of drones we're talking about. We're talking about the kind of drones that kill people on the other side of the world.
Can we kill the ones across the border? Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, there's not any way that somebody crossing the border is going to know that they're being surveilled. The wall.
That's some real expensive drones right there. I think a wall would be cheaper now.
You are so wrong about that. The
Those are
wall is a
expensive
ridiculous expenditure.
So the plan is every time someone crosses the border in one of these locations, we're going to have a drone monitoring all of these locations that aren't used very often, as he said. And then every time that we're going to follow them with drones and then have Border Patrol searching for an hour to find them and then detain them. And then
if we
they're
can
gonna
do
say
it in
have asylum.
Afghanistan, how come we can't do it in Texas?
This isn't in Afghanistan, we just blow up the children.
That's not true. I mean, certainly drones do kill a lot of people, or the U.S. kills a lot of people with drones, but they're also used for surveillance, and they're pretty effective at that.
Just every time someone crosses the border in one of these spots, we're just going to follow them with a drone and then go and detain them, and then they're going to say, oh, I have asylum.
That's
like a
so
giant waste of
much
money,
more
too.
effective and so much cheaper than building a wall along the entire U.S.-Mexico border. It's just, the cost would be absurd. I mean, not just impractical, not just stupid,
Dude,
but
I've
absurd.
I've seen the cost of the walls being proposed. They're all fine.
Okay. So,
Anyways, tell me why you disagree with the wall, and tell me what you think Andrew's proposing for policies that might actually help. Because I'm not seeing any. A drone, okay. We can do that with a wall, too. I don't think a drone's going to stop everyone. Especially once you catch them, they're just going to say, oh, I'm an asylum seeker, because you can cross the border illegally and then claim asylum, because that's how that works. Not how it's supposed to work.
all right. And you describe yourself as a libertarian? Because you sound a whole lot like a Republican right now.
I'm a conservative libertarian. I'm both.
Okay.
I'm not a straight-up libertarian.
So Albert's at the control booth, rubbing his eyes. Oh my God, when are they going to
Collin,
stop?
shut up. Anyways,
We're going to stop now.
we're going to stop now so I can upload this video and take a nap. Goodbye.
Like, subscribe. What's the other one? Share. Comment.
Guess 1,000 subscribers.
Okay.